Hi everybody, this is Bobby with Bobby Stamps, and I have a cute card I want to share with you guys today. This is a card I made for a blog hop that I'm in this weekend, and this is the card that I designed. Our theme is Christmas, and I actually have had the stamp set for a very long time. My son is an outdoorsman, and I'm going to make this for his Christmas card. So I just thought I would just take this opportunity to use that stamp set and design his Christmas card for this year. So I will go over everything really quick. It seems like there's a lot of supplies that I used for it, but I guess there's not that many. It's just a lot of elements, I guess. The base is crumb cake, and then I took a piece of garden green. And I just wanted to make sure I had everything here so I could show you. I used the Softly Falling Impressions folder and just used that to emboss that. And then I'm going to do my stamping on this piece of Very Vanilla, and that piece is 3.5 by 3.5, and I will have to trim it down. And then I just have a scrap piece of Very Vanilla that I'm going to use to put my sentiment on. And then from the wood texture DSP paper, I just took a piece of the Designer Series paper, and I also ran it through the Big Shot using the Holly Impressions folder. And I don't know if you guys can see that. It made a few little white spots on there, but I guess you could flip it over and use that side if it bothers you, but that really doesn't bother me because I really liked the rustic look on that. And then I'm gonna use the crushed or cherry cobbler, and I think this is called, where's the name of it? Double stitched ribbon. So just to add that little pop of like red in there, cherry cobbler, we're gonna use that. I'm gonna just move that out of the way really quick. I already cut everything out with the Big Shot that we're gonna need, so I used the Hearth and Home framelits to cut out my window, and then the window seal at the bottom. And the stamp set I'm going to use is Nature Sings. I'm going to use the little deer there, and then the trees. And then I used the Christmas pines. We're going to use the Christmas blessings, and then the big one for the snowflakes is what we're going to use for those two. We're going to need to use some Versamark because I'm going to heat emboss, and then I'm going to use one of the Stampin' Blends. This is the Dark Old Olive, I'm pretty sure. Yep, the Dark Old Olive. And then I'm going to use Marina Mist and Soft Sky and Wisteria Wonder. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Garden Green. And then you're going to need clear embossing powder. And then I'm also using linen thread, and I'm going to color one of the basic Jewel Rhinestones with the Stampin' Write marker. And then I'm just going to do this while I'm telling you I have a piece of cherry cobbler and the Blossom Builder punch, and I'm just going to punch that out, and that's what we're going to put the rhinestone in here in a little bit. And I think that's, oh, you'll need your heat tool, of course, because we're going to heat emboss. So I'm just going to grab this piece of Very Vanilla cardstock back, because that's where this card starts. So we'll just open these up. And I'm just going to pop those right where they go. So I'm going to start with the Pool Party, and I'm just going to start at the top. It's such a light color, it really takes a lot, couple layers, I guess, to really start showing that up. So I'm just going to put that on there. And I always like to say when you're doing this, you can always go back and add, but once it's on there, it's on there. You cannot take it off. And you can try to lighten it, but usually that doesn't work too well. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of leave that for now, and then I'm going to take the Marina Mist, and you want to be lighter with this because this is, you know, such a darker color. So I'm going to kind of start at the bottom and just real lightly just kind of bring that up just lightly, because I don't want to darken it too much. Like I said, you know, we can go back and add in, and I'm just going to pick up just a little bit more, and just, I want to get the sides a little bit more. Some of this is going to get cut off too, because remember, we're going to cut this piece down because it won't fit behind the windowsill. And then I'm just going to just take a little bit and go just a little bit up in the top. And then I'm going to take the Wisteria Wonder, and we're going to do the same thing. And on this one, you really want to be light, because that is such a darker color. So we're just going to put a little bit of this in here and work it down just a little bit. I like to kind of start off to the side and then work it back through. And then what I liked to do when I was doing this, I would just actually take my windowsill and I just kind of would lay it, and then it would give me a really good idea of what it was going to look like. And then I would know, do I want to go in and add more? Do I want to position it more over here because I like those colors better? You just kind of get a feel for what you're going to get. So I am going to add just a little bit more right through in here, I think. Blend that in just a little bit more. And then I'm going to stop, because I have it to a point where I'm happy and I don't want to mess it up. I like the way that looks, and I've learned that if you keep going, sometimes it's just really hard to say, okay, that's good, stop. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep everything out of my way. Move that in a little bit better so you guys can see. Then we're going to take our deer. Okay, I forgot to mention I had to grab my soft suede. I was set up for my Facebook Live and had this over there, so I had to pause the video really quick to run over there and get it. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to lay this on here again, like I told you guys, and kind of get an idea of where I want my deer to be. So I'm just going to ink that up and then stamp that right there towards the bottom. And then just pull up. Then you can close this and get it out of the way. Then you can kind of see where you're going, because I really wanted this deer more centered in the window and to be really visible. You know, I didn't want this over here, so that's pretty much going to be how I am going to cut this out when I get ready to cut it. So another thing that you guys will have to do is, in order to get our trees stamped around the deer where there's no empty space, I'm trying to show you guys that, we need to create a mask. So how I did that was I just took a post-it note and I just stamped the deer on the post-it note and then cut very close around there. And the reason it looks so bad is because I've stamped on it because I've used this card. Already created that card. So I'm going to open my Garden Green, and then we're just going to take our mask that I made, and we're just going to make sure that everything is covered so we're not stamping on it. And then I'm going to ink that up in Garden Green, but I'm going to stamp off. And then, you know, like I said, some of these we're going to lose anyway because we're going to cut this out. It's kind of hard to make sure I don't get my finger in the way. And then I think I'm going to do one right there. And I know this one's probably not going to make it get cut off, but I'm just going to put one there for fun. Okay, so that's how we get that. That's how we get that look, and the deer are in the meadow now. So that was the look I was going for. So then I'm going to take this from the Pines stamp sets, the Christmas pines. We're going to take this one, and then this is what we're going to ink up in the Versamark. And with the being clear, you don't really get to see a lot of the what's supposed to be the snowflakes on there. I don't know if you guys can see that. If the camera's picking it up, it does put a nice shine on the card, and it just makes the ink on there just pop really nicely. So what I did was I just inked the stamp up, and then I would just randomly stamp it just all over. I kind of did it in like 4 sections. And just kind of, because in this it doesn't matter if we're overlapping what we've inked. And I wanted it on the deer too. So that's basically what I did for that, okay? We'll just cover that up now. Bring in the clear embossing powder. I'm going to try to be very careful when I pick that up. And then we're just going to put that embossing powder right on top of there, and then I just would flip it around, and we'll do the same thing here. Just always make sure you try to get the corners where your fingers have probably touched where you were just holding it, and then just go back around. Just make sure you get it all embossed really well. I'm just going to scooch that out of the way, and then we'll start the heat tool, and then we'll be able to just see that start melting out. Kind of zoom in for a little. You guys should be able to see that it's starting to melt right there on the tree. I can see it up there at the top, the snowflakes. I don't know if you guys can. Right there on that tree is a good, you can see it's kind of melting that. Piercing tool to kind of hold it down. Just kind of make sure you go all over it. Okay. And that is basically it. Can you guys... Hold on a minute, I forgot I was zoomed in. Let me widen out just a bit. There you go. I think you guys can see that. I think it's picking that effect up. Okay. So let me kind of zoom out just a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is, when I was designing it, I just kind of laid this on here right where I wanted it. And I just took a pencil and drew around, but for right now, what I'm going to do is just snip this off, and then I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer really quick. Hold on just a second. Okay, just move everything out of the way really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up the edges just a little bit. So what you can do is lay this on here if you want to and measure. And so that's about 2 3/4. So I want this to be able to adhere to the back of that. So I'm going to just take off a little bit on each side. Like I said, just a little bit, because we still want, you have to have room for your adhesive to go on there. So we'll do this and then see. I may not even have to take that much off right there. I'm just really trying to square it up is all I'm doing, guys. Okay, and hopefully I didn't cut away too much. I would rather go back and have to cut away more, which I'm going to have to do. So let's see. I want to make sure that I leave enough for adhesive. So again, I'm just going to use that as my guide, that is going to be good to take off right there. So we'll just go straight up that way. And then we'll just try it again. And you can pre-measure this exactly. I just wanted to be able to have room for mistakes. And I'm just going to trim that just a little bit more off that corner right there. Not much at all. Just that little bit that was peeking around the corner. You could use your scissors, but I don't particularly cut that straight, so. Okay, now let me adjust my camera so I can make sure you guys are seeing what I'm in frame of. So then what you can do is just take your snail, whoops, stuck to my finger. Just put a little bit there, and then I'm just going to run just a little bit along the side like that, and then we'll just lay this down, and then make sure we have it right where we want it, and that looks good to me. And I am going to fix that right there. Well, I guess you can't, well, okay, you can see it just a little bit. So I'm out of frame because I'm trying to get it up close to me so I can see. I just want to trim that, so I have old people's eyes, guys, so I have to get it closer to me. So I just had just a bit right there I wanted to trim off. Okay, so that's good. We'll leave that right there. Now it's going to move along fairly quickly because we are going to start putting it together. So let me grab my foam folder and we'll just pour that. Okay, and then grab our ribbon, and you can use either side that you find the most appealing. I'm just gonna snip that off right there. And then I'm just going to put some tape on the back to hold that in place for me. And the same thing on this end. Bring that up over the back. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape. Grab my fast fuse. Okay. And then I think I'm going to get this. Oh, I know that helps with the glare, so I guess I'll leave that. I forgot to put my wood grain paper down. I didn't really want to use it because with everything, the sponging, I didn't want to get anything on it. So, but I know when I move this, it shows the glare. You guys can see the tripod pole that holds my camera if you've always wanted to know what that was. So then this piece, I think what I'm going to do though, because that's got a little bit of adhesive, and that's where I was using it before, so that side's really ucky. Let's just fold it because that card keeps sticking to the adhesive. So what I'm going to do is take this piece, and I'm just going to run some fast fuse along that edge. Get down there where my finger was, and then around this edge. There, okay. Now what I want to do here is I just want a little bit of this, you know, I want it on this ribbon because I don't want, I mean, you don't have to do it, but that's just the way that I wanted it. So I'm just going to kind of lay it right on the edge of the ribbon. Try to get it as straight as you can and then put it down. I just wanted a bit of that to peek out. Okay, then we can take some snail. You don't need to use fast fuse for this part. And we're just going to put that right there like that. Make sure you get it straight. I think I got mine a little bit crooked, but it's okay. I'm not going to rip it up. I don't want to rip it. And then we're going to grab, I don't even see it now. It's moved over here. So we'll grab our linen thread. I love this linen thread. I use it on so many of my projects. I always make sure I have whatever I'm working with, like this roll and an extra pack in my stash, because that's how much I love it. That and the burlap. And then I just wrapped this around just a couple times. That's all I went. Snip it. And put a piece of tape back there to help hold that piece. Then I just took 2 pieces and I didn't even measure it. I just kind of eyeballed it. And I just kind of made sure that they were the same. Doesn't really matter because you're going to probably end up trimming them off anyway, unless you cut them just right. But I just took 2 of the same length. And then what you can do is just feed them up through here, like that, over in this corner. And then we're just going to make our bow. I'm going to tie a knot first over in that corner. Move that out of the way now. And then just tie a bow. And it looks like I probably used way more linen thread than what I needed. That's probably why I go through so much. And then we're just gonna pull it down till you get it the size that you want. And then we'll just trim those off. And then I'm gonna trim or pull just a little bit more because I just want my bows to be just a tad bit smaller. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to lay that off to the side. We'll grab our little flower piece and the rhinestone. I'm going to back out just a little bit more. And then we're just going to take one of the big ones. Before I put that on there though, I do want to take my bone folder and I'm just going to curl the flower petals up a little bit, and then I'm just going to place that right in the center. And I just thought the shine of the rhinestone kind of coincided with the shine of the embossing. And then you just, be careful around the edges. You don't want to get it on your cardstock and have that show up. So that's how amazing those markers are, guys. Okay, and then let's just move that out of the way. We'll let that dry and we can work on our sentiment. Put these out of our way. And then we'll just ink that up in Garden Green. Flip that piece over and then just stamp that down. And then pull up. We'll close this up. And then you can just trim it up to the size that you want. And then I just slightly winged it on the ends. Like that. And then this one I'm just going to cut just a little bit more off. And the same thing. So you're just going to go in the middle and then come in on each side until your snips meet right there. Like that, okay? So, trying to move all of this. I hope there's not a glare, guys, when I move that. I hope you can still see. So then we're going to take some of our dimensionals to pop this up, and that will also help hold your twine down. Okay. And then just peel the backings off. That out of the way. It's a piece, I think, of a scrap one I was working with earlier. And then we're just going to place this right about there. And then we're going to take some of the mini dimensionals and place those on the back. I used 4, I think, on my original. This one looks like I'm going to use 5. And then we'll just peel those off. Sometimes it's easier to use this to help me get them started. I took my fingernails off, so I'm sorry for the scratched up nails that I have right now, but if you've ever worn the acrylic nails, you know the process of that. And I'd had them on for about a year, and I try to take them off and not use them, give my nails, whoops, a little break and a chance to recover. So you're gonna see Bobby with ugly nails for a while. And then if you noticed on this one that we're doing, I put the bow in the opposite corner, and I did that on purpose. I just wanted to see. I'm gonna trim that off. I've got a little flyaway right there. Okay. Yeah, I wanted that over here on this one just to see if it didn't interfere. And you can use mini glue dots. You can do that and manipulate that if you want to. But I'm going to take a mini glue dot for the flower. And then just put that right over here in this corner like that. Okay, so there you guys go. Those are the 2 cards that I made. Well, the one that I made, but one that I made for you guys. And I hope you visit my blog. It's bobbystamps.com. There's some amazing projects on there, you guys. Thanks so much.